Hi everyone, here's a new challenge for all of us and all our friends to take part in. Day 5 of self-isolation, and I have way too much time on my hands to think about things. So I thought this might be fun if you want to join in. We are all social creatures and we like telling jokes, and so I kind of thought, wouldn't it be fun if we all shared our signature joke? Everybody's got a joke that they've told, probably for 20 years, and a lot of you will probably have already heard them, but I think it could be really fun. And so if we tape ourselves telling our best joke, we are going to tag a number of friends who you think might also do that, and we'll pass them along. Let's see what we get back and how much fun it will be. I'll start with mine. So a priest, he comes to a new town, and he's got this new parish that he has taken over. And he's no sooner there than one of his parishioners comes in and wants to use the confessional. So he thinks it's kind of odd because he hasn't even introduced himself yet to all of them. And he walks in, and the man says, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned." He said, "I've had carnal pleasures with a woman other than my wife." He said, and I'd been carrying on with her. She's a new divorcee in town, and he said, and I feel terrible about it. What should I do? So the priest, being taken aback, says, "Well, Lordy." He says, "Well, listen, son." He said, "I want you to go home and you say 5 Hail Marys." He said, "and take your wife out for dinner." He said, "And no more of this, no more of this." So the man thanks him, and off he goes out of the confessional. He said he's just leaving the confessional, and in walks another one, and he sits down and he says, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned." He said, "I've had carnal pleasures with a woman, a new woman in town. She's a divorcee. Her name is Nookie Green." And he said, "And I feel terrible about it. I've been married 20 years. He said, "And I don't want my wife to find out." So the priest says, "Oh my goodness." He said, "This is a bit of an epidemic." He says, "All right." He said, "You go home." He says, "and you say 10 Hail Marys." He said, "and be good to your wife tonight." He said, and no more of this. I'll have no more of it." So off he goes, and no sooner than that, a third one comes in. He knocks on the door and he says, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I have been having an affair with a local woman in town. She's new to town. Her name is Nookie Green." He said, "and I've been cheating on my wife." He said, "Okay, that's it." He said, "You go home." He said, you say 20 Hail Marys." He said, "and there'll be no more of that." So out he goes, and for a while he gets a bit of a break from this, and he's just scratching his head. He thinks, "Boy, I better address this come Mass on Sunday." So sure enough, Sunday comes along, and everybody rolls into the church, and they're all sitting down, and he stands up. He says, "I have something very important to talk to you all about." He said, it'll be the top of my sermon today. But he doesn't get any further because the doors break open, and in comes, everybody's head swivels around, and in comes this absolutely fabulous looking, voluptuous woman wearing a tight green satin short dress and matching satin green pumps. And she comes sashaying down to the front row, and everybody's mouth is open wide as she's this beautiful redhead. Sits down in the front row and slightly parts her legs right in front of the priest. And so the priest takes a big gulp. He's looking at her, and he says to the altar boy standing beside, he says, "Son," he says, "is that Nookie Green?" And the altar boy goes, "No, Father, I believe it's just a reflection from her shoes."